Nathan Bedford Forrest was born on July 13, 1821 in Chapel Hill, Tennessee, and died on October 29, 1877 in Memphis, Tennessee.
His nicknames included Old Bed, Wizard of the Saddle, and Devil Forrest.
At 16 years of age, he was left fatherless, with a mother and a large family to support on a small leased farm, and at 40 years of age, he was the owner of a large cotton plantation and slaves, making about 1,000 bales of cotton per annum.
Forrest was a lieutenant general in the Confederate Army during the American Civil War, serving between the years 1861 to 1865.
Nathan Bedford Forrest's cavalry unit contributed a lot to the American Civil War between the years 1861 and 1865.
Forrest participated in the Battle of Fort Donelson, which began on February 11. Union forces captured the fort by February 16, 1862.
The Battle of Shiloh, also known as the Battle of Pittsburgh Landing, was a major battle fought on April 6 and 7, 1862. 6 miles southwest of Pittsburgh Landing, Sherman's men came upon a clear field in which an extensive camp was erected, including a Confederate field hospital protected by 300 troopers of the Confederate cavalry, commanded by Colonel Nathan Bedford Forrest. "If the enemy comes on us in the morning, we'll be whipped like hell."
Nathan Bedford Forrest to Patrick R. Clelburn.
And fire! Victory, men of Virginia!
The engagement of 1st Murfreesboro on June 10, 1862, Union Major General Don Carlos Buell, commander of the Army of Ohio, started a leisurely advance toward Chattanooga. In response to the threat, the Confederate government sent General Nathan Bedford Forrest to Chattanooga to organize a cavalry brigade.
The Battle of Chickamauga, fought September 19th and 20th, 1863, marked the end of a Union offensive in southeastern Tennessee and northwestern Georgia called the Chickamauga Campaign. The battle was the most significant Union defeat in the Western theater of the American Civil War and involved the second highest number of casualties in the war following the Battle of Gettysburg. A 2nd Cavalry Corps commanded by General Nathan Bedford Forrest contained the divisions of Generals Frank C. Armstrong and John Pegram.
Infantry near our bivouac was called into formation. These men of Sheridan's, Davis, and Wood's division all got moving. In those thick woods, it was hard to see more than a regiment or a brigade at a time, unless they crossed the immediate yards or field around the cabins.
The Battle of Fort Pillow was fought on April 12, 1864, on the Mississippi River in Henning, Tennessee. The battle ended with a massacre of surrendered Federal black troops by soldiers under the command of Confederate Major General Nathan Bedford Forrest. On March 16, 1864, before the Battle of Fort Pillow, Major General Nathan Bedford Forrest launched a month-long cavalry raid with 7,000 troops into western Tennessee and Kentucky. Their objectives were to capture Union prisoners and supplies and to demolish posts and fortifications from Paducah, Kentucky, south to Memphis.
Rice's Crossroads was fought on June 10, 1864 near Baldwin in Lee County, Mississippi. It pitted a 4,787-man contingent led by Confederate Major General Nathan Bedford Forrest against an 8,100-strong Union force led by General Samuel D. Sturgis. The battle ended in a rout of the Union forces and cemented Forrest's reputation as one of the great cavalrymen. The battle remains a textbook example of an outnumbered force prevailing through better tactics, terrain mastery, and an aggressive offensive action.
The Battle of Tupelo was fought on July 14th and 15th, 1864. It was a Union victory over Confederate forces in northern Mississippi, which ensured the safety of General William T. Sherman's supply lines. District Commander Cadwallader C. Washburn dispatched a force under General Andrew J. Smith to deal with the Confederate cavalier, Nathan Bedford Forrest.
The Battle of Second Memphis occurred on August 21, 1864, in Shelby County, Tennessee. At 4 o'clock on August 21, 1864, General Nathan Bedford Forrest made a daring raid on Union-held Memphis, Tennessee, but it was not an attempt to capture the city. The raid had three objectives: to capture 3 Union general posts, to release Southern prisoners from Irving Block Prison, and to cause the recall of Union forces from northern Mississippi, striking northwestern for Memphis with 2,000 cavalry. Forrest lost about a quarter of his strength because of exhausted horses.
Wilson's raid was a cavalry operation through Alabama and Georgia lasting from March through April 1865. General James H. Wilson led his Union Army Cavalry Corps to destroy southern manufacturing facilities and was opposed unsuccessfully by a much smaller force under Confederate Lieutenant General Nathan Bedford Forrest. On March 31st, Forrest was routed by a larger, better-armed Union force at Montevallo. The cavalrymen under General Chalmers had not arrived to reinforce Forrest, but he could not wait. During the action, Forrest's headquarters were overrun and documents captured that gave valuable intelligence concerning his plans. Wilson's raid had been a spectacular success. His men captured 5 fortified cities, 288 cannons, and 6,820 prisoners at a cost of 725 Union casualties. Forrest's casualties from a much smaller force numbered 1,200.
Nathan Bedford Forrest is most notably remembered as being the first Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan, a secret organizational group that engaged in terrorist acts against the African Americans during the immediate post-war years. Under the rule of Forrest, the KKK was relatively restrained in its actions. White males, members of the KKK, attempted to persuade black voters to return to a state of repression and slavery. Forrest tried to maintain order, but after numerous failed peaceful attempts, the KKK began using violence and intimidation, which later escalated and became widespread throughout the KKK. Forrest became ringleader of this violence and, using his military background, engaged in midnight parades, ghost masquerades, and torturing and even killing African Americans in order to spread their cause.
It is disputed between historians whether or not Nathan Bedford Forrest was the original founder of the Ku Klux Klan, but in fact, Forrest was not. However, Forrest became involved in the Ku Klux Klan in 1866, sometime after the Ku Klux Klan was founded. By the time Forrest was introduced to the KKK, the organization had grown to the point where an experienced commander was needed, and Forrest fitted the bill. Soon thereafter, Forrest was sworn in as the original Grand Wizard of the KKK. During Forrest's rule, he claimed that the KKK had over 550,000 total members. He described the Ku Klux Klan as a militant organization with a political agenda. In 1869, Forrest attempted to dissolve the Ku Klux Klan, although many factions continued to meet in later years. Forrest was subpoenaed by Congress and testified on activities conducted by the Ku Klux Klan. Forrest denied any involvement with the Ku Klux Klan at this time. In 1875, Forrest's views shifted to be contrary to those held by the Ku Klux Klan. He even gave a speech apologizing for his previous beliefs.